The Political Economy of the Bretton Woods System. This is a mini lecture delivered as part of the State&Market, the Battle of Ideas module at Leeds Metropolitan University. I'm Dr. Alex Nunn. I'm the subject leader for a School of Applied Global Ethics, again at Leeds Met, and you can find out more about me and my work and the work of the School of Applied Global Ethics at the website shown. In this mini e-lecture, I'm going to tell you the story of the Bretton Woods system and the Bretton Woods institutions. We're going to start the story by recapping the battle of ideas about the relationship between state and market, the essential context for this module. I'm going to then look at the background and the historical, social, political and economic context in which ideas for a Bretton Woods system emerged, and how that particular context shaped the negotiation process and the formalization of an agreement at the end, towards the end of the Second World War. We're then going to look at how the establishment of the Bretton Woods system and the Bretton Woods institutions might be explained from a variety of different perspectives, including in there how we can relate the story of the creation of the Bretton Woods system and the Bretton Woods institutions to the battle of ideas about the relationship between the state and market. I'm then going to briefly talk a little bit about the experience of the Bretton Woods system, the Bretton Woods institutions, and how they've been reorganized and refocused a number of times since the late 1970s, early 1980s. And I'm going to finish up by again locating that broader historical story in the context of the battle of ideas. As we go through, the mini e-lecture broken into a number of different segments, and that's so it can be posted on YouTube in videos of less than 10 minutes. So you will need to follow the chain videos through to get to the end. So if I can begin then by looking and focusing on different ideas about how the relationship between the state and market should be constructed, and how those what those different positions in that battle of ideas are and has been within the 20th century. And if we start off then with the first position, the free market position, which promotes the notion of a minimal level of state intervention in the market, and is often associated with the work of people like Adam Smith and more recently Milton Friedman. And then a reminder of the social democratic position on what the relationship between state and market is, and importantly ought to be, which is that the state should regulate and intervene in markets for two principal reasons. Firstly, to protect society and particular social groups from the negative effects of markets, what economists often call negative externalities, and also to prevent or minimize instances of market failure. And this tradition, certainly in the context of the story, the Bretton Woods story that I'm going to tell in this e-lecture, is particularly associated with the work of the British economist John Maynard Keynes. Then the third position, the socialist position, tends to reject the idea of markets in their entirety and argue that the state should in fact not regulate markets but replace them as an allocator of common resources in society. And that's a position often associated with Karl Marx and the various academics and intellectuals that have succeeded him. What you won't necessarily look at in as much detail in the rest of this module is an alternative position, the fascist position. And again, we're not going to look at it in a great deal of detail in this e-lecture, but it does form part of the context for the establishment of the Bretton Woods system, so it is worth briefly just touching on its essential elements. Like the socialist position, the fascist position rejected capitalism as an economic system, and promoted in its place the idea of a strong state, an authoritarian state, intervening to, in some cases, replace, and in some cases, heavily regulate markets. But the essential difference between the fascist position and the socialist position is the extent to which the socialist position favoured the working class, whereas the fascist position wanted to promote and maintain the interests of particular racial and ethnic social groups.